Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Charles Sells with the PIP Group. Wanted to just go over, as we're coming very quickly into the Illinois tax sale season, I wanted to try something new and provide you guys with a start to finish portfolio of Illinois tax sales or Illinois tax liens. So I'm essentially going to use a client account and show you from day one that he invested through his incoming foreclosures that he has now. Uh, Give you a much better understanding of what we talk to you guys about on the phone all the time, but give you more of the visualization of it as well. So let's get started. This is just meant to be a short 15 minutes tops presentation, and let's go through it. So we talk about Illinois. And if you follow us, or this is an introduction to you, we obviously have a much more thorough presentation on Illinois. But we talk about why we love the state of Illinois, and it has to do with the fact that the penalty rates are so good in the state of Illinois. And that's what really turns us on about investing in tax liens in Illinois. Now, one of my followers did catch me on a broadcast recently because pre-COVID and all the other hysteria going on in the world, we were actually scaling back a lot of our business in Illinois. Well, now we're going to double down again because there's going to be a great opportunity for not only more inventory, more volume of tax liens being available, but also the opportunity to foreclose and cash flow on those investments, which is something that a lot of our investors they don't see all the way down that path. And that's what I'm going to try and show you guys here today, that it's not just these great liens and these great rates when these liens redeem that provide a really solid return for you guys. It's also when you go through the foreclosure process and how that all plays out. So we're literally going to show you exactly how all that plays out. So very quickly, this is a client of ours. This is a spreadsheet. I've used this in another presentation, which is called Illinois in Reverse, which goes through the foreclosure process and then literally just goes backwards. So this is what you would get if you were a particular client of ours. As you can see, his investment date was on October 31st of 2016. Now, we've shared this with some of the folks we've spoken to, and they say, no, I want to see something recent. This is recent because in the state of Illinois, it's a 4 to 5 year play. So this is very recent. This is very current. As you can see, there's redemptions just on this one page here from April of last year. You can see that that was not a foreclosure. That was just a regular redemption. So this is a recent report, but just going through it, you can see here the different things that you get when you are an investor. You see the certificate number, the parcel number, the property value. Let me touch on the property value for just a second. So the property values in Illinois are typically low outside of Cook County anyhow. However, the way we provide property valuations is we take the county's assessed value, which is approximately 2/3 of the fair market value, and then we actually discount that a little bit because it's distressed real estate, and likelihood of it going down in value is pretty good through the length of the ownership of the lien. The investment amount there, obviously, the interest that it's earning. Now, in the previous screen, you saw that the bids could be as much as 18%, but that bid can double every 6 months. So 18% at 6 months and a day becomes 36%. So that's how we calculate the interest there. So on those first four liens, we essentially bought those for 15%. The next line is the investment to value ratio. That is the percentage of your investment against the property value that the county has assessed, and we've then discounted. Redeem date speaks for itself, obviously. Redemption total speaks for itself. County fees, those are fees that are paid to the county for different things. I see one here, obviously, it had a foreclosure involved in it. One was just a take notice. So that's essentially what it is. But that's your report in a nutshell. When you come through it. So at the end of your report, what you have is the totals that you have in your report, and what we are also able to produce, which is pretty cool, is we can produce what is a performance analysis for you. So our software essentially allows us to say, take all those liens and say, okay, based on the data of the calculation of these liens, this is what the redemption performance looks like. Now, I want to stress redemption performance because in order for this to work, the liens need to redeem, right? And there's always going to be an amount that doesn't redeem. So on what redeemed here, the performance was really, really good. You know, total interest from redemptions of $15,707 on a principal balance of 38,500. So that's pretty good, but we still have an active value. These are liens that haven't redeemed over here on the right. So these are liens that would be subject to foreclosure. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to try and do is get out of this presentation and get over to a spreadsheet which actually shows our internal data, which it contains a lot more information than what you actually see on your platform. So there we have the property values again, the investment to value ratios, the investment dates, the bid rate. Okay, so that's actually what we bid it at. But again, your report shows the annualized rate, which is the 36%, the investment amount, and as you can see, this one right here, right above, didn't redeem. So that's part of that $11,000 we were talking about. Take notice fees that we paid to the county. The total of the redemption when it redeems, which includes your principal, date of the redemption, and some other fees associated with foreclosure, which is what we're looking at here. Title search fees, postable fees, those are fees that are paid to like the tax collector, the sheriff's office, that sort of thing when we foreclose on the investment. Non-postable fees are attorney's fees essentially. So those are not refunded in the foreclosure process. So what we're talking about here is the potential not to lose, but to really skew those great numbers I showed you on those redemption totals, because we still have $11,000 we're working with that is now flipped into the foreclosure side of things. So this gives you your total, your net return, your cash on cash return on each of those liens, and then days to redeem. Again, this is data we see that you don't see. Some of them 1,085 days. And then AI is important, which is your annualized interest. And you see some really ridiculous numbers here. And the reason why they're really ridiculous is, say, let's go down to this one here for $21.90. That's insane. Well, the reason it does that is because it redeemed 2 days after we bought it. So you didn't actually make 2,000%. It's calculating it as the annualized return. So it paid out that amount in just 2 days. So that's why those numbers are high. Now, where you see these numbers that are negative, those are essentially foreclosures that redeemed in the foreclosure process. So now we're losing a little bit of money on a few of these unredeemed liens. But there's still good news at the end. And this is the good news that a lot of investors, they don't see it when we get to this phase. They get panicked. They feel like they're throwing good money after bad, when in fact foreclosures are great. They actually have a very solid return. They cash flow extraordinarily well. And we're coming into a market where that is going to be a big game changer, especially in states like Illinois, where rentals are going to become very much in high demand. So something else we talk about when we talk to our clients is the pace of the average redemptions. We like to say that 30% redeem every year, and then at the last year, you're left with 10% essentially that we have to figure out, are we going to foreclose or what the case may be. Now that number is a variable that is just an average. It can be different for every single client. As you can see with this client, in year one, he had 44% of his portfolio redeem in the first year. Year two, he was right on track. Year 3, he came down, and then in year 4, he actually had one redeem on its own. So what he was left with was he had to pursue foreclosure on a number of these liens. He did lose on a few, but he was successful in getting 2 properties for tax deed. And as I speak to you right now, today is September 2nd of 2020. We are waiting for those deeds to come in. So that's again why I say this is a very current report. So let's get back to the presentation that I had here and look at these properties. So this is one of the properties that he has, and we've spoken with the agent about it. It is currently occupied. I've given you the address of the property here in the presentation, so you can go do your own due diligence, which I love to always provide. These are the pictures off of Zillow. These are not our pictures, but look at the total investment on this. It was $8,007.66. That's all in. That's back taxes. That's his initial investment. That's his foreclosure costs, et cetera, et cetera. The agent says that as is, it's worth $19,000. I can see it being worth about $19,000 based on the pictures here. If we were to repair it and try to flip it, which, Illinois is not going to be much of a flip market, but it's going to be a great cash flow rental market. The after repair value on that would be $60,000, but you'd probably be putting about 20 into it to get there. So either way, as is or after repair, you're making roughly 100% profit on your investment. So you've been into this for 4 years. So that's essentially what, 25% per year on your investment. So look at the cash flow though. Let's say we took care of the minor repairs. We got rid of all those crazy colors on the house, didn't do any like upgraded finishes or anything, just made it a little more livable, cleaned up and fixed up a little bit. So now your investment total is $18,007.66. That's going to give you a gross rent of $900 a month or $10,000 a year. So that's a gross profit of 59.97%. That's enormous. So that's something that you need to consider as a new or seasoned Illinois tax buyer with us, that the name of the game isn't just the redeemed liens. There's actually a really good play after the fact when you have, even if it's just a couple of successful foreclosures out of 7 you tried. It just takes one to turn the tables on the numbers. So that's something that I really just want to harp on as we double down in Illinois this year, and we start really pushing the marketing for Illinois, is that this is going to be a great play on top of the redemptions that you guys will need to consider. Now, let's assume my numbers were just off by half, which they're not. Again, I've given you the address here. You can go do your own due diligence and see that what I'm telling you here is factual. Everything we do is documented in the county, so you can go see that we paid $8,000 total for this investment. So these are factual numbers that you can go verify yourself. So let's just say, oops, I should have put that back in this mode. So his other successful investment, his total investment on that one was $8,071.24. Now, I know the data on this isn't as good as the last one. It doesn't have as many pictures, but what I'm trying to do is pretend I'm sitting at home with you and listening to this and verifying all this information as I go. So as I was looking for it, this is all the data I could find on this particular property. Do we have more pictures and data in our office? Yes, we do. But this, again, I want you to be able to verify what I'm telling you. So the as-is value, according to the agent on this one, is $15,000. And based on where it is and the condition I'm looking at it in, and I've done this so many times before, I can absolutely agree with that. So again, we're almost doubling our investment in 4 years. So almost a 25% return again on this one if we do nothing with it and we just sell it. That's not something I recommend ever in Illinois, because Illinois is such a darn good cash flow market. So the after repair value, if we put money into this one, would be $65,000. It's going to need quite a bit of work inside it, so it's not going to have that 100% return like the last one did, but it's still got some interesting meat on the bone, if you will, if you were to flip it as is, or with repairs. Cash flow it though. Let's assume we did full repairs on this thing. We completely gutted it. We upgraded it. We did all this great work to it. Now your investment total is $58,071. So your gross rent on this particular property, because of its location, is $1,200 a month or $14,400 a year. That's a gross profit per year of 24.8%. So again, that's a really good profit. Shave it in half if you want to. 12.4% is still a very good rent return or rent yield in any market, and we're going to show you that as well. So these are an example of some properties that literally just came up last week that our client he wants to liquidate and be done. So this is his portfolio. This is how it's been performing since well, probably 3 to 4 years now, I would say. And these are actually available to buy. But I'm more showing you this as an example of the two I just provided to you. So in his portfolio, you can see his rents are all there, where approximately where I said yours were. I've taken the insurance costs, I've taken the taxes, which are obviously very high in the state of Illinois, and I've essentially given you what your net cap or your net yield on these properties is. 16.38%. That's net. That's not gross, that's net. So that's nearly double the national average. And not only is it nearly double the national average on a gross rental yield is 8.4%. I'm telling you that the net rental yield on this particular portfolio is 16.38%. And that's the case with everything in Illinois. So when you get into the tax liens and you're excited about the redemptions of tax liens, you're always going to have to consider foreclosure on the backside. That scares investors, and it really shouldn't, because they're leaving a lot of money on the table and a lot of opportunity. And this just kind of spells that out for you. So again, this was just a very quick and simple presentation. I just wanted to give you kind of a ins and outs of the investment, how the numbers work, and give you some information to show you that, you know, what we say is factual, is documentable, it's verifiable. Everything we give you, you can go back and research it yourself and see that what we're saying is absolutely fact. But what I want to stress here the most is that cash flows are going to be a great market to be in with everything that's going on in the world. And that is why we're doubling down in Illinois. That's why you're receiving this message. And that's why we want you to take advantage of the opportunities because they're going to be astounding. And we really want to be big in Illinois again. We were there up until 2015. I scaled us back because our fix and flips were doing so well. They still are doing very well, but there's an enormous opportunity that's coming up in Illinois again. And we're on the cusp of it. We've been in the trenches for a long time, so we want to take advantage. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it and look forward to doing business with you.